Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Second Act Actors. I'm your host, Dr. Janet McMorty, and I'm still a medical doctor simultaneously trying to pursue a career in acting. My guest this week is Allisha Pelletier. Oh my gosh, everybody. I'm so excited for you to hear her story. She is a business owner turned actor. She's an entrepreneur. She, not just turned actor. She is an actor, a producer, a director, a writer. She does all of the things. She is the epitome of create your own stuff. And I know, we hear that as actors all the time. Create roles for yourself, create your own stuff. And it makes me want to punch the wall beside me. She actually did it. She did it so well. She 100% crowdfunded the season 1 of her show, The H Word. She is absolutely incredible. She does the thing and she gets it done. There's so many yes people in this world who are like, yeah, we're going to do this and yeah, we're going to do that. They don't actually do it. They're all talk, no action. She is all talk and all action. She is all of the things. I'm just so excited for you to hear her story. She's a wonderful human being. I'm just thrilled to have her in my social circle. What a freaking honor it is. I'm getting rage happy here just talking about how great she is. Please enjoy the incredible, multi-talented, multi-hyphenate human being, Allisha Pelletier. I've talked to a lot of people about this, about the typecasting part of acting and how it sucks. But also how we all think we are these individual snowflakes who can be anything and play everything. And yes, heck yes, we absolutely can, but then you talk to somebody not just Sean, big, tall, black guy, Johnny, big, tall, tattooed guy, you and I, white 30-something females. Yeah. We get sent out for the same roles every single time because this is a visual industry. And yeah, absolutely, I could go play Uncle Vanya or Romeo and it would be ooh, gender swap. But it really doesn't happen in film and TV.
No, it's not the reality, unfortunately.
No, it truly isn't. Yeah. Well, this is the life we chose.
Yes, it is.
Well, with that being said, tell me your story. How did you get into this crazy ass business?
Oh, gosh. I feel like it took me forever to get here, to finally commit to this industry. When I was in high school, I loved theater. I did anything related to theater. And so I was like, I'm going to go one of two ways. I'm going to get into acting or I'm going to be a cop. That was what, yeah. Those were my two options, but I really didn't think that I could make a living as an actor. So I went to university for psychology, wanted to, get into criminal psychology. I dropped out. I hated it. I was miserable. I did many other things before deciding to commit to this, but it's been almost 11 years now since I've decided to do this. And it's been incredible. It's been incredible. Yeah, and honestly, it's a matter of just waking up one day and being like, I think I've had enough of this other life that I'm trying to live. I need to just leave the soul-sucking work behind and get to doing the things that I love and enjoy. Yeah.
When you were young, what was it you liked about acting? You said it was either acting or a cop. What was it you liked about it?
Well, I always felt like I was an outsider. And I never felt like I was really good at anything. I struggled in school. Academics was just really hard for me. I moved around a lot as a kid, so it made it made the educational part of my life really tough. Switching schools middle of the year, that kind of thing. And then in high school, I moved to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and everyone does extracurricular activities in Moose Jaw. It was like, if you're not in choir, you're not cool. You're not in jazz band, you're not cool. And so I was like, well, I better join the theater program. I got to join something. And I love drama class. And for the first time ever, I was like, I feel like I fit in. I belong here. These are my people. And I was good at it. It was the first time I felt like I was good at. I remember auditioning for the first time for a musical, and I was like, I'm not going to get it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. I was so insecure. And when I booked the role, I had never felt so incredible. I was on such a high, and the whole creative aspect was amazing. I felt alive and I had purpose. But I also really wanted to make a difference with whatever career I chose, which is why the alternative was becoming a police officer. I thought I can really have a positive impact on the world by being a cop. Yeah. I realize I can also do that with entertainment, which I have chosen to do, which aligns more with who I am.
What was there a moment or a time or a person that said, yeah, Allisha, you're really great at this acting thing, cute, but maybe you should go into the responsible career path, policing, psychology?
I don't know. I can't think of anyone specifically who said that to me, but you know that pressure in grade 12 and you're trying to figure out your career. And so it's kind of everyone around you is like, well, you know, you might do this and that's really tough and you're going to have to move. But also my stepdad who raised me was in the military. And so I've always found him to be really inspiring. And I was like, I want to be like my stepdad. You know, maybe I'll join RCMP, maybe I'll be a cop. And he very much encouraged me to do so. He was like, yeah, it's a great, it's a great career. Good for you. It's stable, whichever. And he also grew up with parents in theater. He moved around as a kid. He was on the stage, so he knew how hard it was to make a living. And so, of course, he would support me in anything, and he very much does now. But, of course, there was that little bit of well, you might want to think about doing something else, going to university, getting a degree. So I did. I tried to. Failed miserably, but
It's so interesting, right? Because I think there is a bit of, I hate to use the word like resentment but sure, maybe there is a bit of resentment because I think for a lot of people, myself included, the idea of going into a stable career path comes from like pure love. Ooh, you just froze. Oh, you just froze. Hold on. Oh, now you're back.
I'm back.
Can you see me and hear me?
I can. Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. Weird. Okay. Yeah. It comes from a place of pure love, right? They want to see their child be stable, be successful, their loved one, whoever, be stable and successful. It comes from love, but I think especially as like teenagers, I know myself, be like, how dare you stifle my dreams?
Yeah. My parents realized by the time I was 23, I think, and I was really unhappy. And I finally decided to step back into theater a little bit, and they saw me on stage and they were like, shit, I think this is what you're meant to do. Yeah. And then they very much encouraged me to pursue it. Wholeheartedly. Yeah.
Take me back to what life was like kind of deciding to stop policing, the aspiring to be a police officer, psychology, and then what were you pursuing that led up until present now?
Well, I was actually, I owned and operated an executive residential and commercial cleaning company. I had my own company. That's what I was doing. Yeah. Scrubbing toilets and doing I ran the company myself. I was only 21 and I felt pretty cool. I was like, look at me, 21, running my own business. And I was successful. I was in a place where I needed to start expanding. I couldn't do it all on my own. I had a lot of clients, so I tried to hire staff. But it was tough. At that point, I was 2 years or 2.5 years into running my company, and I was burnt out. I felt like an 80-year-old, and I was only 23. So, it was miserable. I was really unhappy. And I knew I needed to do something to make me feel like I had purpose again. And I remember one really late night, like I think middle of the night, I was like, I'm done. I went onto my computer. I was living in Calgary at the time. And I was looking at casting websites, and I found one, and I uploaded a selfie, like just like, so that profile would be embarrassing now. And I had no resume. I just had my high school theater experience. And I applied for this fringe festival troupe that was traveling all over Western provinces. And I couldn't believe I got the audition. And then I booked the gig. And so for the summer, I toured with this group doing fringe. And it was life-changing. It was I came back and I was like, I gotta change everything. Like I gotta how do we do this? And it wasn't easy for me to just drop my company and move to BC or move to back to Ontario, which is where I'm originally from. You move to Toronto and start this new journey. I created a long-term plan on how I could eventually be in this career and have it be sustainable. So I'll try to keep this short. I let my clients know that I was going to be scaling back a little bit. My availability wasn't going to be as convenient for them. I decided to go to school for aesthetics. My mom was an esthetician at this time, and I saw her schedule, and I thought, I could do aesthetics while acting. I can move anywhere, first of all, and do that career. So I ran my company and went to school at the same time, which I think was eight or 9 months, which was hectic. I finished school. I moved back to Ontario. I helped my mom manage her spa until I saved up enough money to move to Toronto. And then I did aesthetics while acting for 8 years. And I didn't love it, but it was the only thing that I could do that gave me the flexibility to pursue my career. And 2 years ago, I was able to let go of the aesthetic job and do this full time. So what was supposed to be a 5-year plan ended up being like a 10-year plan. But now I'm here. Not everyone can afford to just drop their first career, their first act, and pursue this full time. It's nearly impossible. So yeah, that's what I was doing. Scrubbing toilets.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I think something that the vein that travels through like every person that I talk to who's done a similar thing to you is this feeling of, oh God, I'm now behind. The train of acting has left the station when I was 5 and I should have been on it, and now I need to catch up, right? Did you feel that? Do you feel that?
Yeah. I was like, why? I should have gone to film school. I should have gone to theater school. I was already, I think it was like 20 grand in debt from university. And then I applied for a loan to do aesthetics, which was smaller, like cheaper than going to theater school or film school. And I thought, like, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would do it so differently. But I was still so young, which is so silly. Like, I could have dropped everything and gone to school. I could have, but yeah, I really felt like it was going to be harder for me because I was starting a bit later than everyone else. Yeah.
How did you learn what to do? You didn't go to theater school. Like, how did you learn this business?
I worked for free. That's one thing I always tell people who want to get started in this industry is you don't need to go to film school. If you love this, you will work for free, and every time you're on set, that's your education. Be a sponge, take it all in, offer help. Don't be scared to say yes to jobs that you don't necessarily know how to do. Just be candid. Be like, I'm learning. But it's amazing. Everyone wants to work with people who are willing to just give a hand. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're going to offer your time and energy, but I don't have to pay you. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I will show you the ropes. And I had a lot of that. I worked for free for like 6 years. Like And I took small classes too. But moving to Toronto financially was really tough. You don't make a lot as an esthetician. So I took what courses I could, but everything I know that has been a huge value, I have learned on set by just doing the work. Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing because I don't know about you, but I definitely have this weird feeling of I need to know everything already. Yeah. And if I don't, I'm going to look like an idiot. Which, if I think about my career in medicine, and I have learners in my practice all the time. And, like, when they are like, I don't know the answer to this, I don't look at them like, idiot. Like, they're in their, like, first or second year of medical school. Like, why do we in this industry, why do we think that?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think our industry is just super cutthroat. Like, it's pretty cutthroat because when I was starting out, oh my goodness, the amount of times I was embarrassed because I didn't know things. It humbles you real quick. But I remember being at a pretty big audition and for the first time, but I was still, I think I was in my second year in, and my current agent wasn't the most supportive, like didn't really walk me through. He knew I was new, but didn't really walk me through. And I showed up to this audition with not the right resume. Like it wasn't in the proper industry format with the headshot. And this lady called me out in front of everyone.
Unnecessary.
Scorned me in front of everyone. And I was like, but I also at the same time was like, thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. You could have done it in a nicer way. You could have informed my agent. And even though she was like, who's your agent? They should know better. And everyone's just sitting there like, So, you have a lot of moments like that. But in any other type of environment, no one would probably do that. But our industry, people get away with, you should know.
Yeah.
You should know. You're an actor. You show up, you know all the things, you do the things, hit your mark.
Yeah. It's hard because I think, like, there's a balance, right? You don't want to show up because there is so much money involved and people's time and energy and all the finite resources. It's the same in medicine, right? Like, you don't want to show up being completely oblivious, like, blee, 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 right? You want to show up being, like, happy to be here, easy to work with, I'm professional. But I also think there needs to be Play-Doh-ness, a malleability, an ability to, when somebody's screeching at you like that, to not react like an angry cat, but to be like, yes, thank you for telling me. I will now do that for the future. There's this weird balance, and I think our industry is not good at it.
Yep.
It's not welcoming. It's like gatekeeping to infinity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me about what you've noticed you've been able to bring into your now acting career, producing career, writing career, everything amazing that you're doing. What have you brought in from your past? I mean, you ran a dang business, girl.
Yeah, I'm the most grateful for that because I learned at a very young age all the responsibilities of running your own business, and your acting career is a business. You are the business. You need to be punctual. You need to show up on time. You need to network. You need to be able to grow your business. You need to market yourself. Like, there are so many similarities from running a business and being an actor, being a producer, being a writer. You create your own schedule. You have to rely on yourself solely. You get what you put in, you get out. So I'm glad I learned a lot of lessons very young, and I use all those skills now.
Has there been anything surprising about the industry for you?
Yeah. I thought you just needed to be a good actor. You need to have talent. If you have talent, you will do just fine. And I realized that being a good actor and having talent only gets you so far.
Yeah.
It's hard not to sit back and compare yourself to everyone around you, and be like, oh, why me? Like, how have I been able to be successful in this or that when I have friends who are so talented, they're incredible, and they're, so beautiful. What's the difference here? And I realized with that comparison that it actually has nothing to do with acting. It has everything to do outside of acting. It has to do with all the human aspects. It has to do with who you are as a person. Are you kind? Are you willing to learn? Do people enjoy working with you? Are you willing to put in all the time and energy outside of just being in front of the camera or on stage? There's so many other factors that make you successful in this industry. It has nothing to do with acting. Yeah. Which that was surprising for me. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's also the flip side, which is I am so talented and that person over there isn't talented. Why are they getting all the roles? What the heck? Which is so self-centered, but we're guilty of it because we're humans.
Yeah, well, you want to figure it out so you can also be booking those roles. You're like, what sets me apart from that person? Like, what can I be doing differently? And sometimes it comes down to something as simple as a look. Like you were saying, this is a visual medium, right? We can't control when the industry is casting a specific look, what's in, what's out, Yeah.
I think also what really makes me, it's interesting, what makes me kind of frustrated is in almost every career that I can think of on the planet, the amount of energy, time, energy, money, the three finite resources that you put into your career equals what you get out of it. And that is not the case for acting at all.
Isn't that wild? It's like why are we doing this?
The rate of return does not make sense. It does not compute. If I was a financial analyst, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Think about it. I put 11 years into this. Where I'm at, I'm still struggling in a lot of ways. And I don't like to use the word struggling anymore because I'm not a struggling actor. I'm a working actor. But
yes, you are.
People my age buying houses, having kids, they're so financially secure. They have structure. I'm just out here all willy-nilly, just like not really sure what's happening next. The rate of return is a little silly. But that's why you have to do it because you love it. That's it. That's the only reason anyone should be in this industry.
Yeah. And I think it's funny because we can have structure. We can go be a cop.
We can. It's an option. Yeah.
It's an option.
It's still an option for me if I wanted to. If I woke up tomorrow and was just like, you know what? I'm gonna be a cop.
Yeah.
I could be in the police force in a year or two.
Absolutely. Then you would have structure, stability, probably some health insurance, right? I think we aren't in it for any of that. Yeah. And there's such a parallel, I think, and this is unique to Canada's healthcare system, which I can wax poetic on about. You got to really love it to be a doctor in this country. I'm not in it for the money. If I was in it for the money, I'd go to the States and practice.
Yeah.
It's the same with acting. If I wanted to, make money as an actor, I just wouldn't be an actor. I'd go to like OnlyFans or something like that. Like it just doesn't make sense.
And it's funny because there's always that assumption with doctors, just like actors. Oh, well, you must be making really big money. You're a doctor. It's like, you know how much debt I am in?
Oh my God. Yeah.
And same thing, people, they see that I have a couple shows on networks and they're like, oh, you're big time now. You're making the big bucks. And I'm like, my wallet says different. Like there's that perception that, you're making money. And it's like, no, I'm barely surviving. But you know what? Freaking happy.
Oh.
So happy.
And there's so much power to that. And I think I reflect back on a couple episodes that I've done with people who aren't in the industry. And one of them is, and this gets morbid, or not, who cares? She's a death doula. And so she literally talks to people and like helps them with end of life. And I've done a lot of work in palliative care.
Oh.
And like we hear this a lot from the people in this industry who are around death and dying about what people think about and regret at the end of days, it's not the money.
Yeah.
It's not doing what makes you happy and being with people that make you happy.
Goosebumps.
Right? There's literally nothing else.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we live in capitalism, but truly at the end of days, and I need to remember this when I'm looking at the moths coming out of my wallet, that really is all that matters.
Yeah.
Really is.
Life is short. Life is so short. Yeah.
So I want to talk to you about your decision, if there was a change to say, I don't just want to act, I want to make my own shows, I want to produce, I want to write.
Yeah. Well, because I wanted to make a difference with whatever career I chose, I thought the best way to do so eventually would be to write and produce my own work. I thought that would be much later in my career, but about 6 years in, I was starting to get really fed up with the types of roles I was booking or the lack of roles I was booking. I'm like, oh man, this isn't good. I need more. I want more. I'm capable of more. And so I started thinking, manifesting, visualizing me creating shows. And again, as someone who didn't go to film school, who didn't learn how to produce, where to start, anything like that, I thought, how the frick am I going to even begin this process? And it's wild, but I was just given an opportunity, just asked to come on as a writer and producer for a show. And these people were just individuals in the industry who I had worked with on a previous project for free. And it was a ridiculous short film, but it was funny. I put my whole heart into it. And they valued my work ethic so much that they were like, hey, we'd love to bring you on for the pilot. And after we shot the pilot, they're like, we want to bring you on as a writer and producer. And I was like, I've never written and produced anything, right? And they're like, we're going to send you to Second City and we're going to pay for you to take a comedy writing course. And Janet, I have videos because I sent them to my mom and I was like, you would never believe someone believes in me enough to... And I'm going to keep those forever because it's just, it was such a pivotal moment for me. And I learned how to write comedy and I really took the back seat as a producer for the first season. And I learned, but they were so gentle with me. And that went from, one season of that show to 2 seasons and a Christmas special to producing another show for a network and now producing my own shows that I'm pitching. Like, it's incredible how quickly things can change. I think just wanting it and being in that mindset of, I don't know how to do this, but I want it and I will do whatever it takes to make it happen is the difference. Everything changed so quickly only 3 years ago. 3 years ago now? Maybe even 2.5. I don't know. The last couple of years have been a blur.
Yeah.
I
think it's such a powerful message about community, I think. The idea of you never know who you're going to meet. You never know when you're going to meet them. You never going to know what's going to happen. Obviously we can't live our lives working for free all the time, but I think if there's something that we truly enjoy and being around these people, you never know what's going to happen. I just think that's know. It's so cool. Yeah. It's so cool.
Yeah, community is really important in this. A lot of the stuff that I do now or I've done over the years have been people coming back and saying, hey, I've got this project. Do you want to come on board? And sometimes it works out in a really incredible and magical way. Sometimes it doesn't. But again, you do because you love it. So it's no biggie. Yeah, community is important. That's why I always tell people, like, get out there and network. Get out there and network. Yeah.
Do you have any more advice for people who are looking to either change careers into acting or just kind of coming into this entertainment industry later in life?
Well, I mean, like I was saying earlier, don't feel like you have to go to film school or theater school. You just start doing it. I think having a mentor is really important. One thing I wish I had when I first started was a friend that I could just go to and ask questions and, pick their brain. If you can find that person, it would be huge, because there is so much to learn in this industry. It can be incredibly overwhelming. And if you have support, I think you will find the transition will be much easier. You'll be more successful, probably quicker, instead of just trying to figure it out all on your own as you go along. But just take that first step, learn as you go. You don't have to jump out of your current career. Make a 10-year plan. And if you were getting into this and you were like, oh, in a couple of years I'll be successful. No, you are not meant to be in this industry. It's a slow burn. It's a slow burn, baby.
Well, and I think the problem is that this is one of the few careers that I can think of where there is the very small but possibility that you can be plucked from obscurity from the shopping mall and suddenly you're a lead in a Netflix series.
Yeah, which is...
no formal training.
Yeah.
Bing, boom.
Absolutely. Which is what I was hoping for, to be honest, at some point. But
aren't we all?
My journey has been different, and I'm grateful for it, because there's nothing more incredible than finding success after you've worked so hard for something. You've put your blood, sweat, and tears into something, and then at the end of it, you're like, I did it! It's just so rewarding when you're just plucked out and handed something. It's like, this is great. I love this. No. If that success doesn't make you fall to your knees and cry, you have not worked hard enough to get there. Because that's what it's like. Any small success that I get, even if it's a big audition, haven't even booked it yet. Get a really wicked audition. I'm just like, ooh, like overwhelmed, like, just to have the opportunity because I've put so much freaking time and energy. That's, I'd rather that. I'd much rather that.
I think that's such a great piece of advice to remember, because it's really hard. And I think it probably comes back to comparing ourselves to other people, right? Like, we see what other people are doing and we forget what it has taken to bring ourselves to where we are. Yeah. We think we should be over there with that person on the train going, but we forget all the steps that have brought us to where we are.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. I try to remind myself, because there are times where I'm just like, man, of course. Like, look at them over there on that, reoccurring role on that TV show. But I'm on my own journey. So,
yeah. And I think that's really, it's a powerful thing to remember as well, how much, not just what steps that allowed us to get us to where we are, but how much of the finite resources it took us, time, energy, money, right, to get here. I think, there's a pride in struggle. It's a horrible thing to say because we hate that word. But
that is also accurate. There definitely has been some struggle.
Right? There is, and I think there is that pride in, look at how much I had to, it's like building a house by yourself, right?
Yeah.
Or I built this IKEA shelf by myself, right? There's a pride in craft, in work, in blood, sweat, and tears.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, my Lord. How would your parents, loved ones, or guardians, how would they describe what you do for a living these days?
I think, they all know exactly what I do, because it's pretty much all I talk about.
Hell yeah.
They're like, how are things? And I'm like, things, career, what's happening? Not, how am I mentally? How are things in my relationship? No. I immediately think okay, so I'm working on this. I've had this audition. It's ridiculous. So they all know that I'm a producer. They all know that I'm I'm really trying to get some shows off the ground. I think sometimes they call me a director, and I'm like, I don't direct yet. They all have a really good sense of what it is I do.
That's really cool. Really cool. Do you have any favorite moments from your times on set?
I do. So that show I was talking about that brought me on as a producer and writer, the whole thing was such a whirlwind. And we were shooting the first season in Belleville, and I was wearing many hats. It was so chaotic. But my parents were close by, and they had, funny enough, they had just moved to Belleville for like a year, and they didn't even realize that I was shooting in Belleville. And so they're like, well, we're here. And I'm like, do you want to come on set? Like, do you want to be in the show? And my mom cried. She was like, I would love to be in the show. And I put my dad in the show as well. But having them be on set and watch me in my element, producing, making sure, the other actors are getting in their wardrobe, and then getting myself ready, trying to run my lines between, get on camera. And it was a sketch show, so I'm playing multiple characters back to back. And I just looked over at my parents, and they were like, just jaw dropped. And I thought, this is probably the greatest moment of my life, that they get to see me in my element shine, and make them proud. I think some of them, we all want to make our parents proud. And my mom loved being on camera. Oh my goodness. She loved it. Yeah. It was really, really great to have my family be a part of such a pivotal experience for me.
That is so fantastic.
Yeah.
It's so funny, again, that it comes right back to what we were talking about at the beginning, that all of, I think, being told to do the rational thing, feeling that from society, for the most part, just comes from pure love. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, I remember my dad, bless my dad, saying something to me recently, and it was along the lines of, like, I don't care what you do with your life. I just wish you had the spark back in your eyes, like the spark, what sparks joy. And I fully recognize there's privilege in being able to figure out what that is.
Yeah.
But the affirmation of having a parent say, I just want you to be happy, and then witness it.
Yeah.
That, like, there's nothing better. That's what it's about.
That's what it's about. Yeah. My mom, she got pregnant at 16 with me. She had me at 17, but she got pregnant at 16. And my mom was an entertainer. She was a dancer. She had the opportunity to audition for Dirty Dancing, because I think, I might get this wrong, but her dancing instructor was, oh my gosh, I'm so bad with the name. What's his name's mom, the lead in Dirty Dancing, the male?
Jennifer. Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. His mother was my mom's, dancing instructor. So she had an opportunity. She got pregnant. Had me. She had to give up everything. And so my mom is my best friend, and I feel like a part of it is like I'm living out her dream. She wanted to be on stage. She wanted to perform. She never really got the opportunity. But now here I am doing that. And so it's like, it's kind of come full circle. And it's, I don't know, just that alone. It just feels pretty incredible. She's so proud.
Yeah. Is there a pressure associated with that? Do you feel
I don't think so. No, because it was one thing I never really thought about until recently. No, not until recently, because I thought about all the things that I've had to sacrifice to be here. And I just think about all the things my mother has sacrificed for me to be here, but all the things that she's just sacrificed in general. Like, if I was to get pregnant young and I had to let go of this dream, that's a part of my soul. Like, I don't know where I would be. And she had to give that up because she had to take care of me. So I just, I can't imagine what that would what that would feel like. So I just have so much gratitude as opposed to feeling pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting because like what we were talking about, right? How much better achieving goals feels when there has been work put into it. And I think sacrifice is a word to use, right? Not just yours, but now adding in like somebody else's. Like when you have that, the pride of not just you, but also the witness pride of your mom. It's not just you doing it alone. It's all it's her as well too. Like that's really special. That's pretty powerful stuff. Yeah. Now you have a ton of stuff coming up. Tell me, if you can, what you're looking forward to, what you're building, what you're growing this year in 2024.
Whew. Okay, so the first thing is Two Brothers. Season 2 is coming out on Out TV this June. Really excited about that. So we're in post-production for that right now. I have also just finished shooting a pilot for another show that is really close to my heart called The H Word. So that's being edited, and we'll start pitching here really soon to networks. Would love to get that on a really big network. I have that, and then my producing partner Andrew Meikle. We have 2 other shows that we're also in development that we look forward to pitching at the end of the year. And we're realizing as producers, you need to have multiple things on the go because the industry is always evolving and changing, and whether it's child content, adult content, drama, comedy. So it's nice to have a couple things in the books to show. Yeah. And then Stony Lonesome, the sketch comedy show, we're trying to develop that into a full-length series too. So there's a few things on the go.
And then that plus the acting as well too.
Yeah, plus the acting. And I'm union now, so that's great. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So the H Word.
Yeah.
How, correct me if I'm wrong, you fundraised for that on your own.
I did. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. Yeah. I've never been one to really turn towards like Kickstarters and public funding. But when I started promoting the show just on Instagram, just to kind of get out feelers and to learn more about the community that would be watching the show. So that's like the facial difference community, cleft lip and palate community. I wanted to just get a gauge of whether it would even be interesting. And I had so much overwhelming support. And I was like, okay, well then I probably could do a Kickstarter, which will help me launch this faster. And I had already applied for a development grant and had been rejected. And I was so confident because I was like, nothing's ever been made like this before. And they're trying to, help shows that focus on inclusivity. So I'm like, I got this in the bag. Got denied. So I was like, all right, public funding it is. And we raised just over $12,000 in 28 days.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I probably could have put that number higher, but I kept it safe. I kept it safe because you don't get like this one. It was if you don't make the money at the end of the 30 days, like you don't get any of it. So yeah, I set the bar. I was like, bare minimum. What can we do it for? What's the bottom dollar? It was $12,000. And, but then I thought, okay, there's a lot of grants where you need a financial contribution already in order to get the money. So I thought, I have $12,000. So why don't I apply for additional development funding again? And so it put me behind even more in the sense that I had to wait how many months to find out before I could shoot the pilot or finish shooting the pilot, I guess. And because we shot some content already for promoting the teaser, Kickstarter, that kind of thing. And and then I got denied again. I got denied again, even with a huge following behind the show and money already invested. So I thought, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to shoot the pilot with what we have. All my community came together for me because it costs a lot more than $12K to shoot a 22-minute pilot. A lot more. But I had all the resources from my years of experience and my incredible friends. So we did that last week. And it was unbelievable. So that's Oh, and it's going to be interesting pitching to networks. I don't know how it's going to be received. I'm trying really hard to create a show that the general public will enjoy. Like anyone growing up different can relate to the show. Mm-hmm. So I hope they see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, we could wax poetic about like the Canadian media funding and all that stuff. I think it's really frustrating. I think especially in this industry that's trying to become a bit of a juggernaut, but we're trying to compete against America.
Yeah.
And again, everything is publicly funded in this country, which is very frustrating.
Yeah.
I did hear though that like only 30% of people who apply for grants get funding. Like that's worse.
Which is a small amount.
School. Yeah.
For how many people apply? Yeah, it's not a lot at all. You really need something that sets you apart.
Yeah, absolutely. Or who knows? Because there's no control and we just have no idea.
Yeah.
Just
I have
like
questions,
acting.
but
yeah, I know, but
I have questions.
Yeah. Do you have any final words of wisdom or advice?
Ooh, I think you have control over your success. So if you were in a place in your career outside of acting and you're not happy, you have the choice to change that, pursue something that feels of value, gives you purpose. And if you're already in this industry and you don't feel like you're, being valued or you haven't lived up to your potential and you want more, create it. I think it's safer just being an actor. But if you really want to make an impact and you really want to do this full time, you need to be flexible. You need to pursue other things within this industry. So whether that's working crew or writing, producing, directing, also make you a better actor, but you have control. Create the roles you want. Yeah. And nothing, myself having a facial difference, having grown up with the cleft lip, feeling like, I won't be successful because I have this scar on my face, right? It's such a superficial industry. I'm not going to be successful. It's such a freaking lie. Anyone and everyone can be successful in this industry. The entertainment industry is a reflection, or it's supposed to be a reflection of real life, and everyone is a real person. So don't let something superficial like how you look, whether it's a disability, hold you back from doing what you want to do.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you, Allisha, for being my guest this week. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible story. Thank you for all the badass things that you do. Thank you for including me in the badass things you do. It's such an honor and a privilege to be a part of your life. You are just such a gem of a human being. Everybody, go follow her on social media. Follow her show, Two Brothers. Season 2 is coming out very soon. If you're in the Toronto area, Season 2 of Two Brothers is coming out with a big party at the El Macombo in Toronto on, I believe, July 6th, the first Saturday of July. Come to El Macombo. Tickets, I believe, are about $30. Come celebrate with the whole cast of Two Brothers. You might see someone me. It's me. I will be there. I will be there celebrating. I'll put all the event details in the show notes below. Also, please support her show, The H Word. Please support everything she is doing. These are the people that we want to have in Canada, building our industry, doing the shows, doing the thing, and sharing their stories. This is how we create community, and we create a baby industry like Toronto, how we create it into a grown-up adult industry. And now I'm just rambling. I am thrilled. Everything that you're doing, Allisha, is just, you are the best. Mwah! I hope you'll all tune next week for another episode of Second Act Actors. Bye.